welcome to Think Out Loud with me. I'm Natalie, and this is a casting of another awesome chat from my little neck of the woods in Northern Colorado to you in yours, wherever that may be. This every once in a while digital adventure is an effort to turn a lifetime of internal chatter, wondering, silent suffering, and physical and mental close calls into constructive and enlightening conversation with others. It's me taking advantage of the irrevocable license to be curious, issued by the universe and held by every single one of us. Time is our most valuable asset, and you have a lot of choices on how to spend yours. Your sharing minutes and moments with me in my space is a tremendous honor. I aim to connect with you, be vulnerable and courageous with you, inspire you, wonder with you, and ultimately unfold out loud with you within a safe and respectful space. Before we begin, just a note about my format. I am a very happy and loving person by nature, and my ability to connect with others in authentic conversation is part of my own magic. I don't shy away from heavy subjects or emotions. In fact, I often run towards the deep end. There is profanity, you can fucking count on it. But connection and conversation are what matters. Fixate on that, and mind the kiddos if they're in earshot so our consciences can rest tonight. That's enough of the formalities. Let's get to thinking out loud. Season 2 of this chat cast is picking back up after a spell spent working on myself. I'll tell you more in upcoming episodes, but in a nutshell, I took a couple of incredible trips to the heart of Mexico, and I joined a tribe of humans on a mission to heal. Besides the miles traveled, I've come a long way. I'm even writing about it in a book. My chapter in Shaman Heart, Sacred Rebel, with lead authors Stephanie Urbina Jones and Jeremy Pager, is one of 25 in the hands of our publisher right now and scheduled for release at the end of May. I'll definitely keep you posted with details and launch events. You can find information on my website at bloomstruck.com/Sacred Rebel, and even pre-order a copy of the book if you're interested. Until recent years, it seems like I've been writing other people's scripts my entire life. I've been writing and playing roles in other people's lives, brands, companies, drama, whatever, my entire fucking life. And I have had no original script of my own. At least I've never felt like I did. I know that's hard for people to understand at first. I think of it like sitting in the passenger seat of life's car for everything, where I've dutifully acted in a role of peacemaker and doer and coordinator, jumping out and helping whoever is driving keep everything running and looking absolutely stunning. Drivers, driving, passengers, passengering, and there's me, busy, in and out of the fucking car, changing flats, getting gas, applying lipstick to rusted bumpers, hoping the duct tape I picked up at the nasty convenience store in the middle of nowhere matches the leather in the back seat where the flamethrower we've been carting around melted through before we had a chance to catch my breath. It's time I write my script. On this back half of life, I want to be the driver. I want behind the wheel to decide where this journey takes me. My why is this script I'm writing in real time with you, finding my community, my connections, and ultimately my congruence. Congruence. When my insides actually match my outsides. There's a concept. How many of you can actually say this is true of you? To do so, to say so, isn't easy. Just ask my guest today. Check this out. Linda Castor, RN, LCPC, is a human I now call friend and sister after spending an unforgettable week of adventure and self-discovery together in Teotihuacan, Mexico. For almost 20 years, Linda has provided play therapy for children and adolescents and psychotherapy for adults in individual, couples, and family sessions. Linda has specialized training and experience in, check this out, clinical nursing, weight management, eating disorders, couples counseling, family therapy, and healing from emotional abuse. She's also treated PTSD, ADHD, OCD, depression, anxiety, autistic spectrum disorder, just to name a few. She's currently finishing her certification, as if she doesn't have enough on her plate. She's finishing her certification in Usui, Reiki Master, and yoga. Linda's creativity and vibrancy shine through in children's books she's authored, and her determination to help others has come to life in the pages of a recent project that will soon be coming to life called Brainwashed From Birth: How to Completely Free Yourself from Narcissistic Indoctrination. It's a self-help book about healing and reclaiming life after narcissistic abuse, in which she shares firsthand experience as a survivor and thriver, and offers practical ways to help those struggling to fully recover. Through her powerfully crafted words, she teaches readers how to deprogram from the narcissist's insidious brainwashing and reclaim personal freedom to manifest their greatest dreams and desires. In chapter 13 of Shaman Heart, Sacred Rebel, the book in which we will both be featured that I mentioned is hitting the shelves in late May, Linda lays open her heart and her vulnerability and shares the incredible story of stalking her own truth. I cannot wait for you to read it. Linda, thank you for joining me, for thinking out loud with me. I'm grateful. I'm so incredibly grateful for our connection, and I'm very excited to introduce you to our listeners.
Oh my gosh, thank you. I am thrilled to be here. More than thrilled. This is beyond belief. I'm so excited to see you. It's so fun to see you. I haven't seen you since our trip.
I know, which was just felt like just yesterday, but then it's been weeks and so much has
Yeah.
happened since then.
Yes.
Hey, our first connection, although we had been in the same space for a couple of days, our first connection in Teo was at the coffee pot.
Yes.
And one morning, and you approached me. And do you remember what you said to me?
Yeah, I do. I do. I was just, well, first of all, I'm going to back up because we were able to have we were able to know each other in a big group, big circle, and we all would share little things about each other and ourselves. And so, I'm just like, I'm sitting in this room with all these people thinking, wow, like I didn't know so-and-so felt that way about himself, or I didn't know. It's like, it was such a beautiful unleashing of our just sacredness of the parts of us that we just don't let anybody else know about, right?
Okay.
So, because that had been opened up, I remember, I don't know, just something about you. I was just like, I want to get to know her, I just thought, just do it, do it, do it, do it. So I went up to you and I said, I want to get to know you, but I think you might think I'm too much for you. And I guess I don't know, I forget, I don't know what you remember, but I remember you just embraced me and you're like, no, Linda, I don't think that about you at all. And I'm so glad to be here and know you and all these, yeah, you just, I don't know. Do you remember what you said? Because that's what my memory was.
You're
Something to
not
that
too
effect.
much for me, no. And I remember thinking, gosh, to be seen for who we are and to recognize the courage that you had in approaching me, to recognize, I don't know that a lot of people understand energy that they give off,
Mm,
that there was a courageous moment there where you approached me and I, in my own way, reacted to you. And my first reaction was just to embrace you and to
mm,
cry and say thank you. Like,
mhm.
how many people, for me, it was like, how many people have I rejected? How many people have I not connected with? Because, for whatever our own thoughts are in our heads that don't allow us to just walk up and say, hey, I'd
Yeah,
like to.
because you healed me in that moment, literally. I mean, the damage that my parent said to me, you're just too much. You're just too much. And it erased, it evaporated. I don't feel that way anymore. I get to be me now. Like, it's
I
so
love it.
great what she did for me. So, wow. Many things,
Wow.
of course. I'll never forget that moment.
I won't either. It was one of the first things I wrote down in my notes was
Really?
that
Oh.
first connection. Yeah. At the coffee pot.
Do you
Uh,
remember the last day of when we were all getting ready for breakfast and we had to leave? It was our
with,
very last day there. Do you remember me grabbing you?
oh, yes.
I was like in tears and I think I like did a neck hold or something on you, but I was just so like, I just had that emotional, oh my gosh, I'm not going to see her for a long time. I just want to let her know. So,
What we're describing doesn't sound real when I hear us. The experience that we're speaking about is, um, I mentioned Stephanie and Jeremy in my opening, Freedom, Folk, and Soul being their collective, and that we belong to. And this journey that we went on was an author's journey. And unlike any really experience that I think is out there, the journey itself was a group of, I think in total there was 26 of us, men and women, And the idea being that we are to each produce our own chapter under this theme of sacred rebel, and that the journey that we go on in the sacred surroundings there of Teotihuacan, the pyramids and the villages that surround the pyramids, that our story would be birthed from this journey, and from the ceremonies that we went through and the experiences that we had together and as individuals, the time we spent together in group, processing and writing and really just laying ourselves out there. You mentioned when we were just getting started that how did you come to find the group, and tell me a little bit about what led you to the author's journey, that our paths crossed there. So what brought you to that point?
I was just doing housework and just feeling like I got to call Ruth Souther. This was after reading the first Shaman Heart book. I knew some authors already from there, and I read their chapters, and they were wonderful. And then I read Ruth Souther's book or chapter, and I was like, there's something about her. First of all, she has the last name of my daughter, who's married to her nephew. I didn't know that until later. Bottom line is, I went to go see her. Didn't even know why. Went to go see her, just pure faith. She did some nice therapy with me. It was very, very positive. And towards the end, she said, Linda, I feel like I've known you forever. I said, yeah, I feel that way about you too. She goes, I think you'd be really good for this. And the rest is history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was your, there's other authors' journeys in the works. I think they've got one for Peru next year, and others that they're talking about. What was your favorite experience of our journey in January that we went on?
I'd say the fire walking, because A, I didn't think I could do it, and B, wow, the vibration that everybody raised around that fire and what we did was amazing. And so anytime I can face my fear and do it anyway, I'm all about it. I mean, I'm not all about it. I'm terrified, but I'll do it anyway, right?
We do it anyway.
So that was huge. And I made myself go across there without anybody's help. I wanted to show myself I could do it. And then what was even more, was better, just to grab somebody's hand. And I think it was Jennifer Falchi, who you mentioned earlier. She and I ran across, and it was fun. We had a good time.
We walked on fire.
Yes, we walked on fire. Yeah.
It's so hard to describe that to people. It's the experience of it, the preparation for it, the kind of the mind fuck, if you will, that you have to, you go through. I think it's probably 7 different degrees of, from freaking out and then saying, no, I'm not going to die. I'm just not going to be the one that does it. I will be the one that sits out. This is not going to be. To no, hell yeah, I'm going to do this, to, oh my gosh, it's like in a minute. Okay, we're standing up. We're actually going out there, and to light that bonfire and to see it roar, part of the ceremony, to watch the life in that fire and to understand that we would become one with it. And then to let the fire burn down, to the embers and the coals, to see those hot, geez Louise, and then to level out and match the energy and find the courage to walk forward and through to the other side was pretty powerful shit. Yeah.
And we did it together.
Yeah.
That was so important.
The collective energy. Yeah. I want to transition into some of your magic and really your story, because I think it's incredibly important. So, narcissism. It's a word that is tossed about and thrown around a lot as of late. People, accuse each other of it. If there's anyone that talks about themselves too much or doesn't, I don't know. There's just this lighty kind of flighty thing with the word narcissism and narcissists and so on. But it's actually a term and a reality that should be, and that you take very seriously. In fact, educating people about narcissism and helping free people from abuse and from the grips of the control that a narcissist can inflict on another human being is a life's mission of yours.
Yes,
Can
it actually
you,
is. Well said.
yeah. Can you give me, I want to talk about the definition. I want to talk about, and then transition into really, your work and what you're putting together in a book. Think out loud with me about the concept.
Absolutely. Well, if I could, let me do a less than 5-minute narcissism 101,
Yes,
because
please.
you're right that it's all out there. So many wonderful people are doing YouTube videos that are amazing. That have actually helped me fine tune some of the things I already knew, but also learned from them. So, but there's a thing called narcissistic personality disorder. So these people have unreasonably high sense of their own importance, and they want people to admire them, and they lack the ability to understand and care about the feelings of others. And they wear this mask of extreme confidence, but they have this low self-worth, and they're easily upset by the slightest criticism. And these people don't want to be cured. You try to help them. Nope. They instead, anybody who tries to help them, they will point and say, "You're the narcissist." It's just amazing how they do that. They will literally think that person's weak for trying to help them. And it's just like a big roadblock. So if you've been raised by someone like that, it's a heartbreaker. And what happens is people get pulled into a dynamic of, well, I want to maybe make it better. What little girl doesn't want her mother to be okay? So I'll talk about that in a second. So the other thing that I wanted to really highlight is that there's a thing that it's narcissistic traits. So there's people who have the personality disorder in the narcissistic area, but then there's the narcissistic traits, and these people become so saturated and contaminated by narcissistic abuse that their psyche takes on the narcissist traits. I mean, they are inherently not narcissists, rather they're like psychologically wounded by intense narcissism. So usually some event or uncomfortable feeling alerts them to this strain. It's like, I don't know if I'm doing this thing and I don't think this is right about me. In my practice, I've helped a lot of people who were ready to do so. They were ready to release those personality traits. And for example, I'll use me as an example. I felt jealousy. This was several years ago. I felt jealousy about my husband being able to travel overseas on a business trip without me. And yet I didn't like this feeling, this jealousy. It just didn't feel like a part of me. It really irritated me. So I started doing emotional freedom technique on myself, which I don't know if you know what that is. It's tapping. Have you heard of that?
I have.
Okay, yeah, it's very common now. I remember learning about it way back in 2004, and I've been doing it with my clients ever since. It's wonderful. It is part of the medicine. I don't know if I mean, it's just one of my medicines I've done for a long time. So I started doing that on myself, and there it was. It all pointed back to my mother, because I was tapping on jealousy. Oh, what is this? And I released intense feelings of jealousy. I then rewired my brain by simply deciding to be happy for my husband that he gets to go. And I was actually shocked at how free I felt once I did that. It was like, wow, this feels better than the jealousy. So,
So when you talk about the masks that these human beings wear, that there is, I mean, I that resonates with me, because I think about, well, I talked about it in my little ditty at the beginning, like this mask that I've always worn of being the helper doer. Like, I can do this for you, I can help you with all this, when underneath I just am a freaking mess of a person inside. And in fact, like growing resentful by the minute, because I'm in the actual situation that I've created for myself, being the codependent, person that I am, wishing that I could take off the mask and stand up on my own 2 feet. But then you're talking about a narcissist having a same situation, but just different, where they have got a mask on of just extremely high importance and extremely high thoughts of themselves, but in fact they're extremely vulnerable inside.
Yes.
And they close the gap by locking in that mask in as hard and fast away as they possibly can. Am I accurate in describing it like that?
Yeah, I mean, true narcissists don't want to give that up. Where people who are wounded by, I mean, we all have stuff, right? But people who are not narcissists and who are wounded by other things in life that come up, they might be also wearing a mask, like you said, but they want to get, there's on some level, they want to get rid of that, as I did. Like
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't want to be like that. But, we tend to take on traits of, when we don't get what we need from our parents, we tend to take on their negative traits. It's really interesting how that works. Very interesting. In my opinion, this narcissistic traits is when we're so saturated from it's just day in, day out that we're human, we take it on. And
Mm-hmm.
then we leave. Hopefully we can get away from that narcissist, and then we recover by going, wow, why am I doing this? Why am I thinking this? That's not there. It's like a settling into who is me and who is not me. Because when you are raised by a narcissist, there's a thing called enmeshment, where you don't know where they begin and they end. It's kind of terrifying. Well, that's where the codependency comes in. It's like, I don't know what do I do without you, kind of thing. So
You're speaking about kind of not warning signs, but like thoughts that are going through a person who is in a narcissistic is in a relationship with a narcissist and is maybe questioning. And I've even had the almost subtle kind of quiet conversations with friends and acquaintances where I think my husband, or I think my brother might be and it's like if we're really actually going to call somebody this, we better be sure about it, right? And so they're in this state of mind of where they're kind of questioning, am I actually in this situation? Can you describe what those you are in a way, but can you, like, what are we looking for to understand, like, the red flags? What is somebody looking for?
in a nutshell, it's how are you made to feel when
Mm.
this person does XYZ? And if you've been conditioned by a narcissist, if you've been raised by one, it's normal for you to be yelled at or to be put down or gaslit. But there's people, like I have a client right now who this person came to me and is considering divorcing the spouse because we've been talking, and this client will say, well, he does this and this and this. And I said, well, that's gaslighting. What's gaslighting? And so I'm like, okay, let me help you understand what that is. And so we don't always know. Matter of fact, that's why I wrote this book, is because I didn't know. I mean, I knew my parent was, not the greatest person on the planet, but I didn't understand why I was being pushed away, or it's just so when you have people treat you poorly and you're not used to it, I tell people, look up the definition of narcissist. If you think so and so is a narcissist, look it up. And does this person do all the things you're reading? Because that will help you decide. And if you aren't sure because you have been indoctrinated by a narcissist and you're just so fuzzy about it, which quite frankly, most everybody's terrified that once they get out of a narcissistic relationship, they're going to go right back into one. And I cover that in this book of how not to do that. That's huge. So, but what they'll do, well, I'll just say, ask somebody else, ask a trusted person. Hey, do you think so-and-so is a narcissist? And it's just a very private conversation, because, what I'm not promoting is everybody going, oh, you're a narcissist and you're a narcissist. And you're,
Right.
like, it's these people are hurting too, so my book is not a bash the narcissist kind of book. It's a very kind, compassionate book on how, for the person, the survivor, of course, and inviting them to heal, and doing so without making them so vulnerable again to the narcissist who wounded them.
Is there hope for, I mean, that sounds like such a shallow question. There is hope for narcissists.
That's a great question.
We are a generation in a time where talk therapy and connection and mental health and support is a paramount importance. And that our parents' generation, our grandparents' generation, where these traits have really just been passed down through, like, I mean, it's abuser to abusee to abuser to, I mean, it's just like in the DNA, right? And it's as if we are, this light bulb is continuing to come on for so many of us as we, this collective of support has grown. There's hope for the narcissist to get help. What we're saying though is it's not the person being abused, it's not their role to find it. I mean, they've got to save themselves before they can save, or before anything.
Hmm. I mean, that's been my lifelong question, is how do I help my parent? You know, I'm this therapist who knows
Mhm.
some things here, and boy, did I had no clue. I just had not actually admitted to myself, oh my gosh, I am a chess piece on a chessboard, and
Mm,
she flicks me off like I don't matter. I was not ready for that until the pain. So I talk about pain and fear thresholds. So usually we don't do anything when we're terrified, we just stay in a situation. But when pain overrides the fear, that's when we go, wait a minute.
mm,
And that's when we wake up. And that's what happened to me just this summer of 2022. And I literally Googled, why don't narcissists want to work through problems and talk things through? And the answer blew me away. And it also woke me up. I mean, awakened me to the, oh my God, reality that
mm,
this is real. Like
mhm,
she, all my life, because you want your parent to not be this at all.
mhm,
And so I finally allowed myself the time to grieve, because that's the first thing that happens.
mhm,
I mean, I could talk about it. I talk about it in the book, because many are unaware they're being brainwashed like I was. And on some level, I knew that, there was a problematic relationship, you know, but narcissists train you to blame yourself.
mhm,
And it's just it's not it just is a revolving door cycle
mhm,
of you trying to help them and they're just like using you. It's just tough. So with such indoctrinations, we blindly remain in endless cycles of manipulation and control because, like I said, we're unable to fathom that the people who raised us never valued us as humans with genuine needs and wants and likes. It is a brutal pill to swallow.
mhm, mhm,
So anybody out there who has realized it and then vacillated and went back into the relationship, I get you, because that is all that can happen. Just love yourself through all these processes. That's what I'm talking about, because it is a process. You
mhm,
know, I literally teach how to deprogram yourself, but we're not computers, so it's not going to happen overnight, right?
mhm,
But it's going to happen, and it can happen quicker than you believe. It's really amazing. And so I want to also say that the years that it took for you to be brainwashed will not count. The years to heal will not be the same. You literally can exponentially heal very quickly,
mhm.
especially because you want to.
Right.
The key is to actually acknowledge, oh my goodness, this is really happening.
Mhm,
Because even today I vacillate a little bit, just a little bit. Like, am I the one that's crazy? Because it's 61 years there of indoctrination, so,
wow.
but I know better now.
Yeah.
I do. I get to be human, you know?
I'm curious, are there other, oh, kind of, I mean, like, it feels like narcissism is like an addiction to yourself,
That's a really interesting way to put it.
to your self-worth.
Yeah, because it's addictive, because, and this term there's a term out there where we human beings are their supply.
Mhm,
Have you heard that before? And all these,
mhm.
yep. That's the value. That's what we are to them.
Because
And
in my mind, I'm thinking about the parallel of, say, an alcoholic, the abuse.
mhm.
There feels like there's how to break free from these where you're trying to save. It resonates with me because I was a child of an alcohol of both my parents, and the feeling of I can't save them from themselves. I'm not enough for them to change. Don't you see me standing here? Like, you know, my desires for you to be healthy aren't enough. And breaking free from that was a massive process that still, I can't say that I've broken free from it. And it's been my entire life spent working on it. Right. So I'm feeling like parallels in these kind of the unwinding of the abuse, and freeing ourselves to walk on our own 2 feet and not walking on
I
paths.
liken the narcissist, the one that, is curious about it and who maybe have a narcissistic parent, and this child is kind of curious. So I liken it to picking up the sword, and they swish it. Oh, you jumped. That was kind of exciting. Let me do that again. Oh, you jumped again. So I feel like they can't drop that sword of control and power and manipulation because it's too much fun.
Interesting.
It's almost like a childlike need to see, I mean, children are wonderful, but I'm just saying a child that gets the gratification of, ooh, you jumped when I did that.
Yes.
But when they have the influence of whatever happens in their young life, perhaps other narcissistic parents, most likely narcissistic parents, that they learn those behaviors. They don't drop that sword at all. They were unwilling to drop the sword.
Yeah.
They carry it for the rest of their life.
I'm reading on the Mayo Clinic website about, you said earlier, just look it up, that a couple of things that pop out, that the disorder, and I mean, it's truly a disorder recognized as a mental health disorder, that folks with narcissistic personality disorder are generally unhappy and disappointed when they're not given the special favors or admiration that they believe they deserve. They may find their relationships troubled and unfulfilling, and other people may not enjoy being around them. It affects relationships, work, school, financial matters, everything around them. I would imagine that they end up being alone at a certain point. It says that the disorder affects more males than females, and often begins in the teens or early adulthood. That's interesting.
Well, they do tend to not have a lot of friends. And if they do, those friends are narcissists probably. And I don't even, so they play off of each other. I really don't know how that works. I don't have that experience. I want to go back to the hope that you talked about, though. I want to give people hope, because when you finally are, you don't like it, but you are willing to accept, oh my gosh, in order for me to be completely free of this, I have to see who this person really is. And now, and I used to be like that client of mine where I'm terrified. Am I going to befriend a narcissist in the future? What am I going to do, as a friend? What am I, and terrified that I'm not going to see that. So I would look up the definition. I would ask friends. Now I don't have to. That is another reward of being brave enough to say, wow, my parent's a narcissist, and I don't like saying that out loud, but I'm going to have to in order to get through that, to free myself from whatever this person has done, for many years. So I can see narcissists I pick them out pretty easily, and it feels great. So I want to give your listeners hope that this is real healing. And that's why in my title, it's how to completely free yourself from narcissistic indoctrination. I mean, you can have the life that you've always wanted and not living their life, because that's what they want you to do. They don't want you to live their life. They want to live life through you. That's even more sinister, quite frankly.
So the book has come about from your own experience, and it's come about because of the people that you have spent time with in session, and in helping them. And I would imagine that it's therapy and healing for you to actually put it together. What a daunting task to put together such a fantastic resource for people. Have you like, what's that experience been like?
Oh my gosh. Well, so first of all, people will come to me and they say, how do you even do, how can you even be a therapist? And I'll say, well, here's what I do. I don't focus on the pain. I focus on the healing.
Mm,
So I remember early on going on Reddit and reading these incredible stories, these 20 somethings trapped in their families, or even, younger, crying out for help. And what do I do? And this is happening, and I don't have the money to get out. And just, so my heart was breaking for these children, of course, because I can relate.
mm,
And so this is really, for lack of a better way to say this, it's a love letter, a love letter to all these kids who need to know how to do this. How do I'm trapped in a situation where I can't get out right now.
mhm,
But I want to learn how to help myself. And once this deception is revealed, survivors become fully activated. They immediately, they get grief stricken, and they struggle to reconcile this disbelief. You just need somebody. I just want to be able to metaphorically hold their hand and say, look, this is confusing, it's heart-wrenching, and I know you're vulnerable, and here's how you don't get lulled back into the narcissist spell.
mm,
This book is, my goal for this book is to help you climb out of that hole. I mean, you don't belong there. I mean, you deserve to be free and live the life you choose. And so this book is to help survivors navigate through this crucial time of transformation and reclaim their lives. You know,
that's beautiful.
it's a compassionate book. It's focused on healing survivors.
I love it. What a
Well, thank you.
wonderful
I'm
gift.
excited. Yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait to get it out.
What do you do when you're not writing and in therapy with folks? How do you go about supporting your own mental health?
Hmm. Well, I am right now. I'm taking a yoga course uh, to become an instructor, and the reason is because early on in my life, my parent uh, kind of ruined yoga for me, and so this is something I kind of have to do. I have to do yoga now, strength training, because I was diagnosed with severe osteoporosis.
Well,
And I have some theories about why I have it, aside from what they talk about, you know, nutrition and all the kind of things. But I really think my bones somehow sucked the life out. The life was sucked out of them somehow. I don't know why I keep saying that. I keep feeling that, but I'm reversing that. I mean, you once you have osteoporosis, you maintain it if you can, So I'm doing all kinds of exercises, learning all the yoga moves that are safe for osteoporosis.
yes.
And who knows, I might do a YouTube channel. I'm looking forward to doing something on YouTube. I don't know what it is yet. Might be that, might be something else, or both. But I want to make it fun, because yoga was always kind of boring for me, quite frankly. So that's what I want to do. So I do that. I write music, play music. I exercise every day. I'm very fortunate I can do that now, just have the time to, and then of course I love to write.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Congratulations on your writing adventures and bringing your stories to life. It's an incredible feat. Having spent time down in Mexico with you in my own ways, facing my own fears and putting words on paper for the world to read, hitting send on that deadline day and thinking, here we go. Here
Yeah,
we go.
I'm all about the exorcism on paper.
Yes.
which
Yes.
quite frankly, I had to write some pretty angry poems to get through, to get to the other side, which is great. So I
Yeah.
didn't like having to write the angry poems, but I didn't hurt anybody by doing it. I expressed myself. So poetry is another thing I do. I just love
Oh,
it. Just kind of
beautiful.
just flows out. I love it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was great, isn't it? It was great to be able to be supported in Mexico with everyone there, and we literally just wrote from our hearts, and
Yeah.
And this book's going to be very powerful. I can't wait for it to come out.
Yeah. You're going to have a powerful year with a couple of them coming out.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
What's your goal with Brainwashed from Birth? What's the goal on publishing there?
It's to help anyone who's experienced narcissistic abuse and has just awakened to this harsh reality. And to be there as a support, as a guide, oh yeah, you need to read this book because this is going to help you know what to do now, because the grief is unbelievable.
Mm-hmm. When will people have access to it?
I don't know. I'm thinking I'd like maybe later on in later this year or in 2024. So
good. Well, we'll absolutely keep people apprised of the details.
Well, thank you.
Linda, what a wonderful opportunity to visit with you.
Well, thank you.
Think out loud with you. Time flies when it's easy. I want to be sure people can find you and experience your magic, whether that's in therapy or just keeping track of your authorship. Can you share details of your website, social handles? How are folks in touch with you?
I'm revamping the social stuff right now, but right now, if you want to find me, just go to lindacastor.com. That's LINDACASTOR.com.
Awesome. And you'll have other, you can find social handles there, whether they're in whatever form that they're in. You are.
Yeah, everything's there for now.
You're everywhere. Yep, I see that.
And I do have a brainwashedfrombirth.com, but it's going to funnel back into lindacastor.com.
Awesome.
Not sure what I'm doing with that yet, but it's also new. We're all just right.
It is a big adventure. Definitely. Every day brings something new. Yeah. Well, thank you all for tuning in to Think Out Loud with me today and today's guest, Linda Castor. I look forward to more in the coming weeks as I welcome additional sisters and brothers from our recent journeys to Mexico. You'll want to tune in. Keep an eye out for when. And until then, take care. Big hugs, big love. Bye, friends.